You are now listening to FallenHour Radio.
That tickled.
Okay.
You got my butt. What the hell is that on?
I don't even know what that means.
It's like when they teleport in these stupid space balls.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. And tonight has been especially one of those nights where it's just like extremely hard to get our podcast. This has never happened to us ever.
I know.
It's like
I think it happened once.
You did it?
Yeah.
You got here at 10:30, right?
Yeah, about.
And what the hell were we doing? Anyways, it took some time to get to the podcast. We didn't get to the podcast till like 2 o'clock. We got to the podcast at 2 o'clock. My wife leaves for a second.
Yeah.
And she's visiting my brother. My brother lives upstairs, and she has to go upstairs to something. And in this time frame, our animals are freaking out because she's not down here.
I know.
And meanwhile, the dogs going across. The animals my cats are freaking eating.
And these mics are so sensitive. You hear every little thing.
The grossest part about it, though, was you were getting into a Men in Black story.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you mentioned that this certain dude passed away, my dog barked, and then the whole podcast is shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ugly. It
Disgusting.
The reason why it kind of weirded me out was because your camera connects to the Wi-Fi.
Right, internet.
So, yeah, it has internet access to it, and it just, nope.
You can shop on this camera, by the way.
To us. Just
That's freaking Art Bell all over again.
I know.
Art.
It was like that Art Bell incident, but no. I doubt we're even on their radar.
Well, just to give you guys a little rundown, if you guys are listening out there on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you guys may be, search us on Facebook at FallenHour, on YouTube at FallenHour, and also we have just launched our Patreon. That is patreon.com/FallenHour, and we have some cool things rolling out. Mm-hmm. I mean, we want to be especially giving you guys a bang for your buck, and I mean our prices are extremely low. I mean, we're starting at $3. Our highest tier is $8, and we want to make sure that everything is low, especially because we want everyone to get what we were giving out.
Yeah.
You guys get behind the scene access. You guys get early episodes is one of the tiers. You
bonus
get
episodes.
Bonus episodes, and we are also planning on doing FallenHour like series of jumping into different series about different contents, like maybe serial killers, things of that nature. And those will only be available on Patreon for, I would say, about the first like month or two. Mm-hmm. And then we would put those out on Facebook.
But it'd be the edited version.
Right.
The ones that are in the bonus episodes are completely
unedited.
Uncut.
Yeah.
Unedited. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's no filtering, and Marcus is like, it's going to be profane. Profanity coming at you. And this is going to be a cool thing going forward. So that being said, that is patreon.com/FallenHour. We'll have another update episode talking about some of the things we're offering on there, unless you want to do that now. I don't think you want to do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No?
I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
About what we're offering on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, that's basically a little bit of rundown of what we're doing. If you guys are on Facebook, make sure you search us on the go. That is FallenHour Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Alexa, whatever podcasting app you have, we're most likely on it. Now, that being said, I tried stopping myself from saying it. Tonight's episode, we are talking about Men in Black, strange experiences that we are reading about, things that have been happening around the world, especially with authors, especially with.
Now what?
See what I mean? It's like this.
What was that?
I don't know. For some reason,
I see what it was.
What was it?
It was your cat. Your cat caught something.
Gosh, dang it. This. Okay, let's just keep going with it. I guess.
Go.
So we were talking about Men in Black experiences, and we're not going to jump into it as a sense of that these are actual.
Not a sense of like just straight government conspiracy,
right? And I think the thing that sets us apart is, especially, I mean, there's a lot of stories where we want to believe it.
Yeah.
But then again, when we investigate something, especially when we're doing an investigative series, is that we jump into them almost subjectively. We look at these stories and we try to pick them apart, and are they fact? Do they line up with other people's encounters? Are they
just like basically something that turned into an urban legend?
Right. Or are they refiltering old stories and things of that nature? And the reason, I don't know how we got on this freaking subject, but I'll tell you guys a quick story about my morning, about this weird, this is the weirdest thing. Because Men in Black has always creeped me out, like to the point of.
I think it's because you're in that state where you're already creeped out, is when you start, something creepy would end up happening.
Right.
You're overthinking, and then something happens, you're like, oh my God.
I saw this meme on, I think Alicia shared it with me on Facebook, is why is it when you're alone you think about the most scariest things ever? Yeah,
your mind starts racing and running and going to the worst possible things.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And it's, I don't know. So I got up early this morning. It's like freaking 6:30 in the morning. And I went through my morning routine. And so I go to the room and I'm trying to put on Bob's Burgers, but I already have. I was just now watching the Men in Black because we were just watching those last night. All these videos,
not the movie.
Yeah, not the movie, but all these Men in Black experiences, strange sightings, and like YouTube videos. And I just now get finished watching that, and I turn that off. I go to my bedroom and I'm about to put on Bob's Burgers and like sit down for a second or something. I turn on the TV and go. Everything looks normal, by the way. All the menus look normal. Everything's fine. I turn on Bob's Burgers, and the discoloration on them was just upsetting. And it goes to a scene where it's Bob and Edith.
Is that where he's driving Edith around?
Yeah. Okay. And when I noticed that their skin color was different, and then it pans to them, and they have the eyes of Coraline, of where they're just black eyes, holes for eyes. It's a normal. Ugly. It sounds normal and everything, but it's just that. And I click on it, and I'm just like, I get out my phone. I'm trying to send it to I sent it to Alethea. I actually get this thing recorded and sent to her, but I didn't save the freaking footage.
Yeah, so like Snapchat deletes it right after you send it, so now it's gone.
So this whole time I'm thinking Men in Black. Men in Black.
They're just taunting you.
Yeah, so I shut that off for a second. I go to the kitchen, and I'm trying to get some water, and then I was like,
knock at the door.
I was like, oh God. I was like, can't be.
They're here.
I didn't answer the door, by the way. I go peek outside, and it's a freaking census lady looking for our brother.
Yeah, so that's as far as I've known, Men in Black has been like your ultimate nightmare.
Yes.
Just not because, like, you know, there's some stories where people think that, you know, there's some kind of government trying to cover everything up, but it's the nightmarish ones.
It's like the intrusion.
It's those ones that I want to get into.
See what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, there was a moth. I was trying to get rid of it.
I think we got to stop looking for the flaws in the podcast, otherwise they're just going to keep popping up. Like we have our animals in the...
What you're hearing right now is his cat eating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, how do you want to go about this podcast? Do you want to just tell your stories about some of these encounters, and then we'll just kind of start dissecting them? Is that how you say it? Dissecting them? Right?
Yeah.
Now, you had a story about a doctor, and I have a story that's kind of similar to this story that happened years and years later, maybe like 3 years ago. And let's hear this Hopkins story.
Okay.
Why don't you get into that?
I can't stop noticing that cat eating. All right, so like the reason why I want to get into these ones is because it seems more so paranormal. And that is what really kind of always captured my interest. It wasn't like the whole government like trying to be like, okay, you shut up, or something's gonna happen.
Right.
It's more so paranormal. Like, it's creepy. It is. It's just eerie, and these are the ones that creep me out. Just the thought of it. Like, if you can imagine it or even fathom something like that happening, it's just ugly.
Right.
It is. So, like, okay, we'll just tell like the more creepier stories right now. But there was this guy, I think it was back in 1953. His
Right.
name was Dr. Hopkins, and he was basically he was a consultant for someone, I believe, that was researching and looking into these kind of stories.
Mm-hmm.
And he was researching it, and he got a phone call. And it was somebody claiming to be an activist in the UFO community. And he said he was with some agency, I believe.
Right.
And he said, I wanted to talk to you about your research. But he said the way he was speaking, it was kind of odd to him. Like, he had a feeling that something wasn't really right. But he agreed to talk to this person. He said, well, I can, be at your house, and we can talk to you today. He's like, okay. And this is around nighttime. So he was like, okay, well, it's going to be a late night visit.
Right.
And he hangs up the phone, and he walks over to turn on the yard light, the porch light.
Right.
So this guy can see when he comes to his house. And right when he flicks the light on, this guy was already walking up his steps.
Disgusting.
Walking up his steps to his patio. Now, this is the time where there was no cell phones.
Right.
No
internet.
landlines, no internet, no Wi-Fi, nothing like that. If you wanted to talk to someone, you had to be on a landline. And there was no possible way that this guy could be at his doorstep that fast.
Right. He would have to be like running or something.
Yeah.
What?
Even if he was running, like sprinting across the street or something, if he was at a neighbor's house or it was just some guy trying to play a prank on him,
Right.
he would not get there that fast.
And you also said, and this is actually in his story too, is when he was on the phone with him, his words were evenly spaced.
Yeah.
Like
Every time he talked, it was like almost like somebody was typing this out, and he
Right.
was just repeating it like a robot.
Right.
Just the way he spoke was odd.
And now I remember you talking to me just a few nights ago about how military has access to technology before they come out.
Like before they ever like, let's say Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or cell phones, touch screens. The government supposedly has these things maybe even 50 years before they're released to the public.
Right.
They've had these things, they just haven't released them to people.
Right.
And that's kind of what I was thinking about that, but still, that's just weird.
Like, is it possible that this guy might have had a cell phone or something, or is he?
No, like, there was a, what Project Blue Book is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that was declassified, not too long ago, and you can actually go in and look this up yourself. It's open to the public now. They claim that the Men in Black is not a part of any government agency or entity.
Right.
So written in there, they're saying that they would like to catch one of these things,
The government would.
The way they describe it, one
Right.
of these things, and talk to them.
And this is like I think we have to do also a series on that, because this is like the holy grail of UFO conspiracy theorists, UFO sightings and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And they're mentioned inside of that book.
Yeah. Now, this guy, okay, going back to the story, he hangs up his phone and he goes to turn on the porch light for this guy when he comes. He figured he'd be there in a few minutes. He flicks the lights on and this guy's already walking up his steps to his patio.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. And he, like, right there, that's like a red flag. That's just creepy.
Right.
So he knocks on the door, and he said he was kind of hesitant at first. And, he knocks again, so he opens up the door. And this guy was more adamant about being invited into his home than about the whole research.
Like a vampire.
Yeah, like almost like he had to be invited in. He kept asking him, can I come in? Can I come in and talk to you? Well, are you going to invite me in? That kind of thing, when he could have just had the conversation right there.
Right.
And so he invites him in. And he said the way he walked, he was just like robot-like. He just walks right over to the couch, sits down, sits up straight, and he just stares right at him. And the whole conversation, this whole time this was going on, he didn't blink once.
Or breathe.
He's like not really moving. He said, like, the way he described him was almost like a doll, like a ventriloquist doll.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Just sitting there staring at him. And every time he spoke, his words were evenly spaced.
Right.
And the questions he was asking were more so rhetorical. Like, he was asking him questions, but it's like he already knew the answer. Like, he was leading him into the answer.
Strange.
But before, like, this whole conversation happened, this guy sits down and he takes his hat off. When he takes his hat off, that's when he notices this guy has no hair on his body. Well, more so his head. Because I don't know everything he's saying. I'm assuming it's just his head.
He didn't see his whole body.
But yeah, he takes his hat off and he said his head, his description was he was as bald as an egg. That sounds funny, but he said he had no hair on his head. He had no eyebrows. He had no eyelashes, nothing.
Right.
And his eyes were just big, almost like he had no eyelids, because he was just constantly staring at him and did not blink once. And when he finally, kind of gets to asking about this whole, his research and stuff, he asks him a question. He asks him, do you know who Barney Hill is? Are you familiar with Barney Hill? And he said, yeah, I believe I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And he said he was actually a really famous abduction, that happened. Yeah, an abductee. He was really well known. And he said, yeah, I'm familiar with Barney Hill. He said, I think he just passed away not too long ago. And he said, you're correct. He passed away. And
That's so strange.
Yeah, that's what he asked him. And then he says, you have 2 coins in your pocket. He says, yeah, I do. He says, he asked him to take one of them out. So he pulls out a penny and he goes to hand it to this guy. And this guy doesn't take it. He just tells him to stare at the penny. And so he looks at the penny and he said that it started turning a silverish color. And then it started kind of getting blurry and it turned a light blue and it basically just disappeared within his fingers.
Strange.
Now, he goes on to say, Barney Hill had no heart. He said when he died, he had no heart. He was without a heart, just like you're without a coin.
That's ugly. It's like he made his heart disappear.
Yeah, that's basically what he was getting at. Was that's how he died.
Like a threat.
It was like a threat, yeah. And he goes on to say, I suggest you stop researching this and get rid of all your research.
They just got the chills.
So basically, he showed him what he can do.
And then Hopkins went on to burn his entire collection.
Yeah. But before that happened, he, he noticed, like after he says that, he was wearing gray gloves, and he goes and kind of wipes by his mouth. Now, this is like one thing I left out was he had no hair on his face, no eyebrows, no eyelids,
or
no
his
nothing.
body,
yeah, on his head, but his lips were really bright red.
Right.
And he said when he went to wipe by his mouth, something smeared off on his fingers, like it looked like lipstick. He said, okay, that's strange. But when he wiped by his mouth, he noticed he didn't even have lips. He just had lipstick around where his lips should be.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that's ugly. And so, he makes his threat and he gets up to walk out. But before he does, he said, like, the last words he said was, I suggest you get rid of all this research you're doing and stop, looking into this. And when he was saying that, he said his voice started sounding funny, like it was dying down.
Oh, strange.
And the whole time he was talking, he said it almost like sound metallic every now and then, like a robot.
Right.
And he gets up to leave and he says, I gotta go. And he says, my energy's running low. And he said his voice started dying down.
That's like the exact same story that I had.
Yeah. And he said he walks toward the door really fast. And he said this guy was moving quick. And he said he went down and he walked down his driveway and he started walking down the road. And he said then he saw a bright light And he said, and that guy walked toward the light, and then he was gone.
That's
He said there was
strange.
no cars, no nothing. There was no car out there.
Now it's almost like that this being was at his doorstep and was trying to conduct himself in a manner of like a human.
Yeah.
Of where if I go knock on this human's door, then supposedly in all
Supposedly.
in all human conduct that the person would let me in.
Yep.
Like I should be invited into this person's house, just like he's asking rhetorical questions. Like he knows this. He knows this.
The answers.
Yeah. So it's like he goes to the door, basically thinking he's going to let him inside. So he's like asking him if he'll let him inside.
Yeah.
And then I was asking you before as well as like when there's all these abductions and they have these experiments done on them. I mean, some horrific stories. I just came across one that was done in Canada and it was disgusting looking. This guy had a real photo. This guy's stomach's all tore up and everything.
Oh God, yeah, I remember seeing that.
But he's alive. But it was like a bunch of burns and crap. But it's like, is it the same way that they're researching the human body, like biology, is these men in black visiting homes and things of that nature and only talking to people who are susceptible to abduction? Because that's kind of one of the theories too, is like when you're attuned to this, maybe you're more susceptible to actually contacting them. There was a documentary done with, I forgot his name, but it was a documentary on Netflix called Extraordinary, something like that. Anyways, this guy does music, and he does music in a sense of trying to contact these beings. But he said he always knows when there's a UFO outside because he feels like he needs to go outside.
Yeah, that was even described in some of these stories.
Yeah, it's like they're calling him to go look outside. Yeah. But it's like the same way they're doing all these experiments. It's almost like these men in black experiences are almost like an experiment in and of itself. It's like they're trying to see how people react or act in their presence. And it's like, is that one of their studies? It's like they're trying to study more of like their
reactions and
personalities and things of that nature. Is that part of their study? And if they, I don't know, had this whole thought out, but it's like, that's basically what it is. Like, is it part of one of their studies? It's like an abduction, but they're actually coming to your house and talking to you.
See how you react to a threat.
Right.
See how you react to coming face to face with somebody like that.
Or how you recall certain occurrences and things of that nature.
Yeah, but like most of these stories, they already knew what happened, even if there was nobody around. If it was a single person that saw a UFO, he said that, later on he would have an encounter with a men in black, and he wouldn't even say one word. This guy that was dressed in black would tell him what happened, showing him that I know more about this than you think I do.
Kind of like he was there,
almost like I was there,
right? And or reading his mind.
Yeah,
which is like I make myself sound like a nut when I say that crap. But there's a story like that. It's like the
one in the hotel,
Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
So there's this famous story that took place in Niagara Falls, and I mean, we were watching this last night.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough to come across a video of where they kept replaying this over and over and over again while they're talking about it.
Now, this is supposed to be like one of the only real known footage of a Men in Black encounter. Yeah.
Right. And the thing about this piece of footage is there's a lot of different little details to this event that happened inside of Niagara Falls in this hotel that kind of paint a picture of like, this is really strange, but also dark.
Yeah.
And these beings are basically, there's a pattern from all these Men in Black stories up until this point.
Yeah.
But you actually get to see these beings.
They look very intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not the clearest video, but what's intimidating about them is they're massive.
Yeah. And I think that's the right word for it, is they're intimidating.
Yeah.
And so the story goes, and this is an actual real account. There was a UFO sighting in Niagara Falls, I believe it was like 3 years ago, maybe like 2017. Yeah, 3 years ago. And for some reason, this hotel staff is there focal point of this Men in Black. And the Men in Black go to this hotel looking for a certain person, and he must have been either a manager or a security.
Or the head of security.
Right. And they're looking for this guy, and the clerk working the front desk calls this manager and tells him, and she's freaking out. And there's an actual audio of her, and we'll probably maybe put that into this podcast.
One of my bellmen approached me, and he kind of had a weird look on his face, and he said to me, can we go in your office and talk? I brought him into my office, and he says, something really weird happened here yesterday, and you weren't here. He said, there's a couple guys in here looking for you. And I said, a couple guys? What do you mean? And he said, well, this is really hard for me to say. He said, but there's a couple really strange-looking men that were here, and they kind of freaked everybody out, and they were asking questions about you. And, of course, now I'm getting a little bit nervous, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, he goes, I don't know how to describe them except for extremely odd-looking. They were really, really tall. He said, and they were identical height. They were the exact same height. They were wearing the exact same clothes, and they had the exact same faces, like they were twins. And he said they were wearing black suits, black trench coats. They were wearing like the old-fashioned Federo hats. They had extremely, extremely pale skin. And he said they came in and they looked around a little bit and they asked for you. And I said, I'm sorry, he's actually not working today. And it seemed like they didn't believe me, so they started to walk around the hotel, and shortly after they went to the tour desk, and he goes, I got busy. I started to have to bring cars around and get luggage, and by the time I came back, they were gone. But he goes, they freaked me out, and I really wanted to tell you that there were these weird guys in here looking for you. So, of course, now I'm a little bit skeptical and I'm a little bit freaked out all at the same time. So the first thing I do is I run into my security office because I know how to work the security system, and I rewound the cameras, and sure enough, here comes two gentlemen through the front door looking exactly how he described. Then the next day, I was talking with my tour desk, and one of them asked to talk to me. She came in my office, the same as my bellman, and she said, I need to tell you about something that happened. I heard that you heard that there were some men looking for you. And I said, yes. And she said, they asked a few questions about you, and they said strange things that I didn't understand. And they were talking about governments and conspiracies, and none of it made any sense to me. But she goes, they were very, very scary. And I said, well, why were they scary? And she said, they had no facial hair, none. She said they had no eyebrows, no eyelashes, nothing. Their hair looked like they had a wig on, like it was attached to their hat, like it wasn't even real. And she said, and the scariest thing, their eyes were so big and so blue that they almost hypnotized me a little bit. And she goes, and you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but I swear they knew what I was thinking. I swear. And I don't think I'm crazy, but I don't even know how they could do it, and I don't know why I'm even telling you this. She goes, so I started to think about things other than you, and I don't even know if it worked. And she started to cry, and she said one more thing before she left. She said, these men, they didn't blink. Not once did I see them blink.
And she's freaking out about this thing. And she's saying that these men came in, they had no eyelashes.
No eyebrows.
Yeah, no eyebrows. And the thing about them was, in this story, is they're wearing hats. Now, these hats aren't...
Well, they always, like, mostly wear hats.
Yeah, but the certain hats that they wear aren't really worn in modern times.
Yeah.
They're old hats. I forget what they call them, but they're you don't see those hats anywhere anymore. It's like old school, like mobster style kind of hats. And she said that it was almost like their hats were connected to their hair.
Yeah. Said they had hair, but it looked like wigs. He said it didn't look right.
Yeah.
It looked like it was connected to the hats that they were wearing.
It's like, how does that even look?
I've been trying to picture that ever since I saw this
All
video.
I see is like, I don't know what I see. I know
like
what I
a
picture.
horrible
Know what I
haircut.
picture is I went to a garage sale today. Now it just rang of. That's what I was thinking when I was there. As I look at the bottom of this big old barrel, and there's nothing but wigs at the bottom of this barrel. I didn't take one of it. I wanted to. But she says that also that their eyes were massive.
Yeah.
And the bluest of blue eyes.
And they did not blink.
Yeah.
The entire time.
They're almost like hypnotizing.
Yeah.
And that's one of her words that she put in her statement was like she felt like she was being hypnotized.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, she felt like they're reading her mind. Now she calls the manager and tells him all this. There is an actual piece of footage that we're talking about, and these men walk through the door, and they are massive. They're huge. I mean, their shoulders are broad.
Yeah.
They're wearing these long trench coats. There's a bellboy that approaches them just before they enter the door.
And he gets the hell out of the
Yeah,
way.
immediately he goes left, right to the wall.
He's like walking out, like all casual, and the second they step foot in the other door, the main door, he just jets to the left.
And that's the thing about them too, is just thinking about this video, is that they had no intention of getting out of his way.
Yeah, they just keep on walking.
Yeah, it's like what would happen if he actually just stood there?
Yeah.
It's like they were walking really quickly and they had no intention of like, excuse me, whatever. They just like they just kept
excuse me.
They're basically like walking with purpose into this building anyways.
Yeah, they literally looked like they're on a mission.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, the more you watch this video and play it back, it's the strangest thing in the world. And there was reports from not only hotel staff but hotel guests complaining to
the staff,
saying that these men are creeping them out, and they were actually being intimidating after a while.
Yeah,
because they weren't getting their way with the clerk or anything.
Yeah, they were trying to find this guy.
Right.
Yeah, they were doing like all over this freaking building, trying to find him. Now the funny thing is you see them enter this hotel, but there's no other footage of them leaving this hotel.
Right. That's it. It's just them coming in.
You never see them leave. This is why they only put out that footage. They're saying that there's nothing else. There's no other footage of them, leaving this place or anything.
I mean, if you were to be a hoaxer, I mean, you would at least see it all the way through to the end of where they leave the building. Because, I mean, especially if you're a visual person, or if you're a person who's trying to direct something, you want to see it till the end and actually give an ending to the story.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how they would have tried to orchestrate this hoax of trying to give an ending to the story of they leave the building. But in this instance, they don't leave.
Mm-mm.
It's like, where did they go?
They just disappear.
Right.
Yeah, they saw them walking away, and then they were gone.
It's disgusting.
It is weird.
And
now there's like a few other stories about this. Like there was one guy saying that he was confronted by these men in black years ago, like sometime around the first sightings. And
Dan Aykroyd.
He described he described them as they weren't even touching the ground.
Oh,
they're
strange.
2 feet above the ground.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. There's like paranormal elements to some of these stories. Like it wasn't just a guy that comes up and say, "Hey, you like stop looking into this, or I'm gonna kick your ass." No, he was
That's
like
basically
literally like threatening your life. Like, you know what? Your family's gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble if you don't, get rid of this stuff.
Right.
But he does it in a way that's just creepy.
That's basically is what they've been doing in all of these stories, is they're being intimidating.
Yeah.
They're trying to deter you from the trail, whatever that may be.
They either want your research or whatever you found or your photos, or they want you to destroy them and stop talking about this. There was even one guy that he had I think he always had a newsletter that he sent out.
Right.
He had a bunch of subscriptions, and he'd send out this newsletter that had to do with like UFOs and this and that. And he claimed that he had something really big that he was going to put out. It was going to be groundbreaking. And before he sent this out, he was confronted by these men in black that told him that he needs to stop, or something's going to happen to him. They threatened him, they threatened his life, and he burned everything. He got rid of it all. He stopped doing this whole newsletter and all of that. He just gave it all up. And they said, his family said that he had he lived his life like in fear. The rest of his life, they said, ever since that encounter, it changed him. He always had constant anxiety. He was always looking over his shoulder. He was always paranoid. And he got phone calls every day, every single day, from an unknown caller. And he just died like not too long ago.
How old?
I think it was like 2002 was when he finally died.
Do you know how old he was?
I don't, but he lived a long life. He said that, he would even answer the phone and there'd be nobody on the other line. No answer, no nothing. And that would happen constantly.
It's the second time you gave me the chills tonight.
It's basically like them saying, "I'm still watching you."
Oh my God. Now it's stories like that I like. Is like there's actually family there.
Yeah.
There's footage there of Niagara Falls, and those are the ones that I like because it's like
it's not just one person coming out saying, "Hey, I saw this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was big and scary, and he looked like a doll.
Yes.
But that's like one of the descriptions. They were saying like their skin almost looked fake, like it was pale and it looked almost plastic-like.
Porcelain-like.
Yeah,
or
porcelain-like.
Plastic, yeah.
Like a walking ventriloquist doll. That's just ugly to think about.
That is
especially
disgusting.
If it's bigger than you.
And oh my God, the thing that I was doing to myself this morning too was, I never do this to myself. I sometimes actually do this, but I never actually picture something in my house. You know what I mean? Is where I was standing by the TV and I'm just sitting there watching, and then I kept looking back to where you usually sit. And for some reason I was picturing you as this freaking thing, but then again I kept picturing like how would this thing look? And I just remember like picturing this thing like massive sitting inside that chair, and that was before I went to the bedroom to turn on Bob's Burgers, and it just freaked me out.
That's ugly. There was even another story where this guy said that after he made his threats, and all that, telling him to stop looking into this and stop researching this, he said he just stared at him in his eyes. He said he stared at him and his eyes lit up like flashlights.
Oh, it's ugly. That's
just
like
glowing
that's
white
like
lights.
Cartoonish.
Yeah, and he said like he couldn't look away. He said he was staring him in the eyes. He couldn't look away, and he said he felt the top of his eyes like aching and burning.
Whoa.
I don't know what the point of that was, but
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah,
that's creepy though. It's like it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
kind of cartoon nightmare deal. That's disgusting.
But it's not always with anything that has to do with UFOs or aliens.
You were talking about Mothman.
Yeah, usually it's anything paranormal. There's accounts that happen that when somebody saw something paranormal or even poltergeist activity, they had an encounter with 2 or 3 men in black suits, those weird hats that they wore back in the day, and they said the only thing that wasn't black on them was their shirt. They had like a white shirt, a black tie, a black suit, and they had all the same description. No eyelashes, no eyebrows, and they just looked fake.
Now that's kind of one of the things that was like, now you're getting into a field of now you're kind of triggering some things in my head.
Like what?
Now I always had this theory going back to like our first season of how aliens could be like a portion of demons.
Yeah.
Of how angels are laid out in a certain hierarchy, that they're different ranks and they have different purposes and different looks and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Of where there is a division of angels where they actually look like human beings, and they're the only ones that deal with humanity, which means you can see an angel.
Oh, okay, so
Right?
now, are you thinking like since the devil supposedly
Mirrors everything.
mirrors everything God does, but in his own way,
Right.
that he would have his own set of angels?
Right.
That deals
So
with
if
humanity?
there are things like poltergeists and demons like that, and they're all laid out in certain different ways of being, then maybe there's a portion that is humanoid, that only deals with humanity.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So like there's archangels that deal with like warfare.
Yeah.
Then there's like other demons that deal with warfare. Then there's these disembodied spirits, which are basically like these demons and ghosts and things like people come across in poltergeists. And then now you're getting into the more physical realm of where they're actually humanoids.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
So they look like humans and they only deal with humans.
Right.
Okay.
And now there's all these other things like grays
That
and
just
things.
made it that much creepier to
Yeah.
think about.
And now there's like these grays and things and UFOs and things like in that nature, and only these things are cited in those crafts.
Yeah.
Of why don't you see a Men in Black humanoid type of deal, especially with abductions inside of these crafts? Why are they always grays, or why are they always like reptilian like beings? Why aren't they humanoid? Now, a lot of times people actually...
You mean like in the movies?
Right.
Every time an alien comes from someplace else, it looks like a person.
Right.
I was like, that's just lazy writing.
Right. And I think that's I don't want to jump into like a whole series of like why I think that way. It's like I don't have the thought totally thought out yet. It's I got to think about that crap and try to like read all this stuff. But it kind of triggers that thought of like, if there's a rank there, then there's a rank here, and is that possibly one of the ranks? Is this Men in Black type figure a humanoid?
It's just trying so hard to look human.
Right.
Yeah. But it can't quite nail it.
Right, because there's things, especially demonic, that actually mimic personalities and things of that nature. Why is it trying so hard to mimic personalities? Maybe it wasn't attached to anybody yet, to where it got their personality, whatever, or learned that way. I don't know.
Okay, I think I know what you're saying.
Okay, so there's also these things I want to get into possibly in the next podcast. I think this is going to probably turn into like a mini series of us diving into, because I mean, especially when we get into the UFO phenomena, this is like our playground. It's like we have all these stories we can recall, and we try to jump into these and try to like not only research these in a way that we can articulate into a podcast and get a thought out, but actually dissect those. And now there's an account of an actual psychologist who only dealt with abductees, and I think that this was portrayed in The Fourth Kind.
Oh yeah.
And I want to get into those, if I can see if I can find some sort of things on that doctor, and possibly start dissecting those stories and how she or he was dealing with these abductees and things of that nature.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's also Men in Black experiences that she was talking to these patients with, and when she talked to them about them, they would start freaking out and screaming.
Yeah, it's like they started remembering.
Right.
Yeah, like when they get hypnotized.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And they start seeing what, like if you watch The Fourth Kind, if you haven't, watch it. It's insane. But they would see these animals, like an owl or something.
Right.
You know, but that's just what they wanted you to remember. They kind of basically hid themselves in your memory. And when this person would hypnotize them, they started getting those real memories back and seeing what it really was that they saw, and that scared the hell out of them.
That is now the third time you gave me the chills tonight. It's like this stuff just gets to me in a way. It's like,
it's ugly.
You know what creeps my worst fear? I don't have much fears.
It's the thought, like, if this is really real, that is just creepy.
Right.
And it is 4:00 right now, and I have to go home and
okay, one more thing. It's just
and walk to my door. It's like dead silent outside.
Right. So it's like my worst fear. I don't have too many fears that actually like fear. But there was a scene in The Fourth Kind of, spoiler alert, of where she goes, this is the doctor. She's interviewing people. She's not an abductee.
Yeah.
she goes back to her tapes trying to review some old audio, and she hears an audio of herself,
Yeah.
and she's screaming, and she's freaking out because she sees something inside of her house.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember this.
It's like they erase your memory.
Right, and that's my worst fear is like...
I mean, not with that stupid little friggin' neuralizer thing on Men in Black.
God, I just saw a stupid man.
You got to bring that back up because we shared a video. We talked about this video a while back. If you look back on our last Alien podcasts,
Right.
It was about this man
This guy just
in
pissed
black
me off.
walks into this building and basically convinces this girl to go with him, and she was never seen again.
Right.
Like, she was hesitant at first, and I think she pulled a gun out or something, didn't she?
Yeah.
And then he just motions his hand a certain way, and then she's just totally susceptible to anything he says. And she leaves and disappears, and that was supposedly a real footage, but he just came across a video that just made me laugh.
It pissed me off
It's the
because
same person.
we did a podcast about it. We talked about it, but
We brought it up on a podcast.
then
yeah.
again, back then we weren't really looking at things like skeptical. I mean, we
I
were
was just like, oh, look at this one. It's crazy.
yeah. So I came across the same kind of video, the same voice narrating this thing, and this man in black comes in. You can see this guy much more clear than you can in that other video, by the way. The other one looked way more creepy than this one. But there's a lady sitting there, and you can tell she's like just doing the gestures. She's probably not even talking or arguing with him. She's just like doing the gestures like she is like whatever. And then he comes around the desk, and then he goes into his pocket like this. And he pulls out a little thing and flashes her. And then she's like, done. And then she gets up like he has control of her, and then he does this weird thing like this, like over his like pelvic bone,
Yeah.
which is the sign language for a vagina. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time, and then it hit me. It's like we did a podcast about that.
We mentioned it on the podcast, but yeah, like that's what I mean. Like there's videos
God.
like that. I was already skeptical about that one, but I was like, you brought it up, and I just had to see it, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll bring that up and talk about it, and just it was hilarious. But one thing that kind of was similar to this story about Niagara Falls and these guys coming in and how massive they were,
Right.
it reminded me of Dan Aykroyd's story.
Right.
He said when he saw this man in black, he got out of that sedan, and he said he was huge.
Right. Oh, right. He was like
Yeah,
he said
he
a
said
football
he
player.
said he was ginormous. Like he said, he was really big. He said he just gave him a dirty look, and he said he glanced away and looked back, and this guy was gone. This car was gone, and he said that there was no way he could have, sped down the street or flipped a U-turn and went the other way. He would have heard the revving of the engine, or the squealing of the tires. He would have saw this thing take off. He said that, this was kind of some kind of cloaked vehicle of some sort, and he knows that was
This was on a main street,
a real Men in Black encounter.
Right.
Yeah, and man, this guy's worth like what, $100 and something million.
Yeah, he has
$200 million.
Yeah, no reason to fake a story
no reason
like that.
to, like, you could lose all credibility.
Yeah, right.
And he was actually filming a documentary about this, and he had like all these people that were experts in their fields.
It was called Out There. I watched it.
Out There, and he was literally about 30 episodes deep in this thing, and they just stop it right there.
Right.
Yeah, like maybe an hour or so after he saw that.
I believe he put out the film.
He was talking about it, yeah. And he said that they got a call, and they just said, no, we're not doing this. And he had to deal with the Sci-Fi Channel. And the reason, if you look it up, the reason why they say they canceled this was creative differences.
Right.
Now, why would you wait 30 episodes in when this thing was already going? You put all that money into it to end it over creative differences.
On the same day that he saw Men in Black.
They tried to say that they wanted this thing to be funny. They wanted it to be like, funny and blah, 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 whatever, because he's a funny guy. He's a comedian,
right.
Saturday Night Live, all of that. And he said, no, he said, I want this to be serious. I want this to be a serious documentary. And they fund this thing, and they go 30 episodes in, and then all of a sudden no, I changed my mind. And they don't
Wow.
want to do it. Now, why do you think they changed their mind?
The Men in Black.
But yeah, it's odd. It just doesn't make sense. Like,
Right.
you think they wait that long to where he's filming his last interview with somebody that was supposed to bring up something groundbreaking, and they just end it all of a sudden.
That's so strange.
Literally about.
I think he went through with actually recording with that dude too, didn't he?
No, I don't think that he did.
He didn't.
I don't believe so. But that guy did go out and he did a lot of conferences and all of that and spoke and everything. So you could find his interviews. I can't
Right.
remember his name, but it's just funny how that all happened after he saw this guy in that sedan.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Now we're actually going to start doing possibly a series on, also included in this.
I just nailed my tooth with that cup. I must be tired.
Tink of this.
Right.
I want to watch back and look at it.
It's literally like 4:20 in the morning right now because we had a podcast already pretty much filmed out and everything was going wrong. Like everything was
Oh my
going
god.
wrong.
My ring broke for
Yeah, he
one.
broke literally
a dinosaur bone ring.
dinosaur bone. We gotta put all these stuff. Like everything was going wrong. We're trying to film this podcast tonight. The camera shut off on us, and difficulties with the mics, and the animals going nuts.
This whole day has been weird.
Yeah, this whole day was it was a fill.
I can see the hairs on your face. They're standing up.
It was a fill, but you know what? We just had to get it done tonight.
Now I just want to mention this, so just so I don't forget it, is in one of these upcoming episodes, there's also an author that has been visited by almost like Men in Black, but they're not. They're children.
Yeah.
And he gets his calls intercepted all the time. And there was an actual real recording. This is real.
And he has photos.
Yeah, photos.
And he had encounters in his conferences.
Oh, God, disgusting encounters. Anyways, he has photos of a girl of who he believes he was actually talking to on the phone, who intercepted his phone call with his wife. And she calls herself Aurora, and there's other people with her that she's introducing to him. And he talks to this being on the phone all the time.
Yeah, she intercepts his calls.
Yeah, and
constantly.
it's all crackly and everything, but she can hear her, and she's like invested into the conversation.
Or
and
every time he goes to take a picture, he's outside. He goes to take a picture.
Oh, disgusting!
They're watching him.
Anytime
you can see them hiding.
Anytime my window's cracked open this much, that's what I think about is that little girl.
That's just ugly.
Because
I literally just gave myself the creeps because I have to go home at 4:30.
He was
in the
outside
morning.
and he was just taking pictures of his flowers, and he caught this angelic like girl with big eyes and blonde hair, and she's just a little girl, and there was no one in his yard.
Yeah.
I'll end with that.
Let's get into that one.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of winged this episode because we were just trying to get to it, and it's early in the morning.
Oh, God.
And, yeah.
This podcast, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at FallenHour, on YouTube at FallenHour. That is patreon.com/FallenHour. We have a lot of cool stuff coming at you. My name is Sirelinik. This is Marcus, and you are listening to FallenHour Radio. Gotta creep myself out.